Peace, 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 everyone. It's been a while, but yeah, always a pleasure, Dr. Bass. Thank you so much for hosting another one. How's it going, brother?
Oh yeah, it's been going good, going good. What about you, man?
Yeah, so far so good, thank you. Yeah, I really do wish that your personal time has really benefited you in ways that definitely has helped you to grow and really discover much more about who you are and pretty much how you yourself continue to evolve as an individual and stuff like that, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely taking that time out and kind of like rediscovering like yourself is always like very important and stuff.
Very important indeed, my brother, and I wouldn't want it any other way, whether it be for myself, for you, for anyone else who's really on a important spiritual journey to really get back to that place of power, that place of knowing who it is that you really are, and how it is that you yourself are a part of the divine providence, the all source, if whatever you want to call it, but that yeah, you do everything that you can in your power to ensure that you yourself get back to that place of power, that place of knowing who you truly are, and that place of just really getting back to where it is that you really came from, which yeah is way above this material realm, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely way above like this physical realm and just like when we like connecting back to like that spiritualities.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And you know, just so people get it correct, I don't know if we've mentioned it in our past lives before, but we personally, whether it be you, myself, or anyone else in the who's currently having a physical experience, we don't have anything against the physical in particular because the physical is just its own experience, you know? There's definitely a lot of beauty, a lot of good stuff to experience, to get in. Big shout out to Brother Panic. It's just like Eddie Murphy's 1997 movie, not 1997, 1987 movie, Coming to America, you know? Like the spiritual message behind that movie was just so deep. Like, imagine you're in Zamunda, you're in that great place of spiritual bliss and everything. Your royal penis is clean, Your Highness, and all that kind of stuff. Next thing you know, you decide for experience or whatever it is that you decided to go to the shithole that is Queens, you know what I'm saying? AKA the physical realm. Like I mean, okay, but and he took and big shout out to Brother Panic. He took with him his partner semi consciousness. Man, I'm probably gonna have to reshare that video just so y'all could see what it is I'm saying. But a good book I urge everyone to get to have in their library, bro, The Kybalion. That book, right? Among many things that it teaches, which is like the seven laws of Jehudi, which we already covered in the past, the law of rhythm, the law of polarity, and all that kind of stuff. But um if there's one thing that really captured my attention reading that book is I believe at the beginning of chapter 4, but either way, get that book, The Kybalion, by the Three Initiates. That book explains change is the only constant in the universe. And think about it, my brother, you did not stay a 3 year old or a 5 year old or a 7 year old within this physical realm. All around you within this physical realm, and I'm not even talking about the higher spiritual realms. Within the physical realm, we see change is a constant. Change is the only thing that we truly see on a consistent basis. And yet, motherfuckers want to still stay with a 2,000-year-old flesh eating zombie god or some I even lost count of what these religions are supposed to represent anymore, but suffice it to say, you get what it is I'm saying, Dr. Bass. As I pass it back on to you, as I'm also gonna like share some videos that yeah, we could just get a good grip of what it is that we really need to remember because change is a constant. And one of those changes is death, which I guess you could put in the title as well, bro, for today's life. Change, death, why we should embrace it instead of fear it. Because remember, bro, back in ancient civilizations, when there was no Chinese man or Japanese man or Korean man or white man or any of these other humanoids, when it was only niggas inhabiting this world, bro, we knew what death was. We embraced it. We accepted it for what it was because even Hilton Hotema in his throughout his books, get his books as well, good stuff. Throughout his books, he explains because all these individuals are literally just tapping back into knowledge and information that we left behind as we knew we were gonna fall into a deep sleep, man. We knew that death was nothing more than a changing of one state to another, aka moving back into the spiritual realms. You know what I mean? But as I pass it back on to you, Dr. Bass, like just give basically a layman's term explanation of what it is that I just laid out because the people have to get back to knowing what reality is, and death is just a part of that change. Death should be embraced, not feared. That's the crackers and these motherfuckers who did not comprehend it. They came in with this whole doctrine about oh fear death and this and that. Think about it, bro. A motherfucker who's so attached to something will not ever want to let go of anything. Pass it back on to you, Dr. Bass.
Oh yeah, so like they feel deaf because like they can't go beyond this realm, and because like they're so like physical and everything is made up. They're so focuses like power, money, and like currency and all that other stuff, which is materialistic items. So that's why they can't go beyond this realm, because that's why they feel deaf, because they know if they die, then they just gonna like they're gonna lose everything that they gained in this physical realm. But like this is all just like a transition. So like we going through this like just like if you watch like the Soul movie, you're just going through like this like the universe kind of like in a way, and then whoops, you got the off. It's a detour, so now you're going there and you're going through this whole experience and everything like that. But then once you finally make it past like the death process, then you can go back to where you were going to and where you're really heading. And then but like for like changes, we definitely like change every single day. Like but it's like duality. So like it could be like positive changes or negative changes, but only focus on like the positive. So like more positive energy will come through. But like you just have to like take every day like as it comes and just stay in that present moment. And then like how you said, like the coming to America is really like coming to like this physical plane, because we were in like our spiritual kingdoms and queendoms and everything like that. But then now we're coming back to Queens, which is this physical realm, to just experience it. So now we have kind of have like both of those like experiences down our belts. So
Oh yeah. Big shout out to Brother Panic on that. I always give props and credit to who it is that really deserves it because even though I watched Coming to America already, bro, it's something that I never really thought about the way Brother Panic broke it down. It was just like so beautiful, so simple, and so straightforward and to the point. We were in Zamunda, literally. And like, for whatever reason, we decided to come here because we wanted to take on the stress. We wanted to take on the bullshit. We wanted to just see if we could really overcome all of this. And even though by just watching the movie, you would know that, yeah, he did overcome all of it. I mean, of course, because everybody wants to see the hero. I mean, which is why mythology is so prevalent and it's so um everlasting because mythology is literally just a reflection of who it is that we are, the journeys that we go through, the challenges that we have to go through and overcome, all of our lowest of failures, all of our highest of triumphs and all that kind of stuff. You know what it is I'm saying, bro? And big shout out to Bobby Hemmett if you notice carefully within the educational systems and whatnot, there's a reason. I find it to be very odd they don't teach mythology, but yet when you go to these like pristine colleges, whether you're talking about Harvard, whether you're talking about Yale, whether you're talking about the University of North Carolina, and I'm just basing directly out of the US, but I mean, you know where these crackers, they've been doing so much of fucking um conquering for so long that they took a lot of our artifacts, a lot of our scrolls, a lot of our books and all of our knowledge and hid them within their museums and libraries and whatnot. But I mean, the Vatican alone, we've mentioned it before and I continue to mention it. Why is it that why is it that they refuse why is it that they refuse to why is it that they refuse to continually allow people, they shun people, they stop people from wanting to get the information that is available within their miles and miles of libraries. I mean, that's just strange, isn't it? I mean, like, you've got miles and miles of libraries that only a few motherfuckers are allowed to enter in and like have even the slightest idea of what it is that all these books and papyruses and scrolls have written down. This is stuff that people really need to stop and wonder, because even though the burning of the Library of Alexandria was truly a travesty, one of the biggest tragedies that has happened, especially in modern human history, yet still, it's not the be all end all, because you know for a fact these motherfuckers did not burn all the information, because you know for a fact they took a lot of it with them, which, yeah, as I mentioned before, it's in hidden in the secret archives of all these museums and libraries all around the world to this day. But I mean to say, yeah, big shout out to the brethren where it's where credit is due. And yeah, when we talk about positive and negative, the positive is also masculine, whereas the negative is also feminine. So like, yeah, I know that there are those who probably want to point that out, and as I'm reading these different books, it makes sense to me. So I think it would make more sense if you and I would mention terms like desirable and undesirable results. You know what it is I'm saying, bro? Like wanted results and unwanted results. But being scholars ourselves, we just continue to grow and look to make it as clear as possible to ourselves, to each other, and to everyone else. You know what I mean, bro? But like, yeah, I find it to be very interesting. These motherfuckers, they have miles and miles of information and knowledge and secrets. Like, what's the secret? What's the secret? I mean, Dr. Bass, I pass it back on to you. Yeah, it's just stuff that people need to be aware of, because we're heading into the feminine age. We're heading into the age of magnetism. We're heading into the solar age. We're heading into the age of ether. People need to get with the times, because change is the only constant. It's written in the Kabbalion, it's written all throughout the ancient world. Man, know thyself. Change is constant. You can't be stuck with punk ass Jesus or Moses or Mohammed, because if these motherfuckers were real, heck, we could even go to the freaking ancient Egyptian gods and whatnot, because if all these motherfuckers were real, certainly they would have come down and came to our rescue, right, bro? No, just like coming to America, we got ourselves into that situation, just like Hakeem, Semi, and them. We got ourselves into that situation, and we ourselves, being the gods, being the great ones, only we ourselves can get ourselves out of this mess. Dr. Bass?
Oh yeah, I definitely feel that because like they just want like to stop people from knowing like the truth. So like they just want to keep the truth but not like let it out. So like for example, like say if they have like a secret that they and like this group of people only knew, and then all of a sudden like someone told someone else, or like someone like came out and exposed them like within the group, and then all of a sudden now like all their secrets are coming out. So like at this point, like of course they don't want the secrets to come out uh, like anyone else, right? So of course they don't want the secrets to come out, and then all of a sudden now it's coming out, and then of course they're gonna try to deny it or like use shadow ban people and like censor people and all that other stuff because they just realize like, okay, now the truth is coming out. Of course, that makes sense. If they have to ban it, then of course it's true at this point. So like everything that's getting censored and everything that's getting deleted without people really knowing, that's really the truth because at the end of the day, it's all about storytelling. So like the perception and the narrative of these stories and of these people who want to control the narrative, of course, they're gonna tell you what to believe and tell you what to do. But at this point, you have to write your own story at this point. So yeah, it's all about like being the holder of your pen and like writing your own story and making sure that no one else tells you what you should do, like or what you should be. Like if you watch that new Spider-Man movie, it was really talking about just being stepping into your own power and like creating your own story instead of following the same trends and following the same story as everyone else.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And um, the way you laid it out there, bro, it just makes so much sense. And big shout out to Dr. Mumbi, whose videos I be sharing with those of y'all who I'm usually in contact with frequently. Yeah, big shout out to Dr. Mumbi for always emphasizing it. Bro, the first thing these motherfuckers did when they invaded this realm was control our narrative. And to this very day, bro, it doesn't matter who it is. And I don't give a damn who they think they are, whether it be your mama, whether it be your daddy, whether it be your sister, your brother, your uncle, your cousins, your aunties, your grandma, your grandpa. Well, then again, when it comes to the elders, especially those who like still hold those great spiritual secrets and whatnot, some of the elders know what be going on, but I'm talking about the generation that came before us in particular. Those who really feel that they know everything when in reality they don't know jack shit. Bro, you hold the pen, you write down what your story is. Because the moment you let another motherfucker write your story, bro, yo, you might as well just give it all up and start from scratch, i.e., reincarnation all over again. But here's the beautiful thing about it. In reality, as I continue to grow, bro, it really doesn't matter if we do reincarnate. Because the reality of it all is, we know that even science itself teaches us the material universe as we know it had a beginning and thus it will have an end. So no matter what, we're not going to be here forever. That's just the reality of it all is we're not going to be here forever. And the beautiful part about it is knowing that this is like a video game experience where we could just hit the reset button at any moment once we do come to that spiritual realization. We snap out of that amnesia, which if you really stop and look at it, bro, remember back then, especially like in the 1990s, and I would think maybe even into the early 2000s, if you really scroll through Hollywood movies and whatnot, those motherfuckers used to like to make movies based off of amnesia. I'm like, I always used to be like, wait a minute, why the hell are these motherfuckers so focused on movies where the main character suffers some kind of amnesia? One good example, The Iron Giant. Big shout out to Bobby Hemmett on that one. A big carbonated being, very big, powerful carbonated being, hits his head really hard, can't remember who he is. Does that remind you of a particular species, my brother? A particular species of humanoid? Yeah, if I didn't know any better, I'd say they look like me and you. But yeah, bam, he has these two antenna at the on top of his head. When they spark and they come together, they literally activate, or rather they help him to remember. I don't know, maybe you watch the movie and you remember better than me, bro. But like, yeah, that right there is the serpentine kundalini energy which Hilton Hotema and all these individuals are talking about within their books. I'm telling you, my brother, the truth is so beautiful that it doesn't matter if you do reincarnate, as long as you remember who it is that you truly are. That is the beautiful part about it. Yes, it would be better if you just transcend this physical realm, as all the ancients have already taught us, have left behind in all the different scrolls and papyruses and books and all the ancient information that they left behind before we fell into a deep sleep. Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, all them be talking about this, Dr. Mumbi. Yes, the reality of it all is though, just imagine if everybody came, if everybody just stopped and took a pause and went within, my brother, like everybody, each and every individual. I don't care if you're of the nigger race, the oldest race on this world, or even if you're a so-called white person or a so-called Japanese or a so-called Korean or a so-called Chinese or a so-called Indian or a so-called Arab or any of these other humans who just recently showed up. Bro, if everybody came and went within, oh man, could you imagine just how blissful, just how peaceful, just how beautiful, just how truly awesome that this experience was always supposed to be? Just how the beginning of it would be alone? I pass it back on to you, Dr. Bass.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because like once people finally like go within and kind of like start loving themselves truthfully, then they realize they don't have to chase after anything. They don't have to force anything. The universe will bring everything to them because they use the law of attraction and they use the law of assumption. So at this point, like once you like realize like, okay, I have everything I need. I have everything I want because I have it within myself, then you won't be going out and setting out the wrong intentions. Because I see a lot of people setting out with the wrong intentions. They be going to different events, be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go there and just like network or just try to find my soulmate or try to find something or try to chase after something. And then all of a sudden they don't get it. And then what? They all kind of like mad or sad that they didn't get it, but they going in with the wrong intentions. Because if you have the right intentions, like, oh, I'm just gonna go there just to experience, or I'm gonna go there just to have fun because I'm gonna have fun with myself, then you're setting it as pure intentions. And then when you finally go, then all of a sudden you'll attract that energy because everything is energy, right? So at this point, if you go into a situation and you're trying to force something or chase after something, people can read energy, people can read your energy. So you're not going to be as confident, you're not going to be as yourself. So people will sense that and they won't be attracted to that. People won't go up to you because you're having that attention all that energy of lack and energy of desire. But if you go into a situation, well, you are calm, you're peaceful, you already have everything going for yourself within yourself, then people would be attracted to that energy because you're collected by yourself. You get what I'm saying? So it's all about it's all about the internal space within yourself and then activating that kundalini energy so it can flow through you naturally and organically. And yeah, we're definitely not here forever. So like make sure you just have a fun time at this point, you know. So,
Oh, most definitely, bro. Most definitely, because yeah, if you happen to hear any background noise, yeah, pardon for that, because yeah, some BS going on in the background. That is when we're not talking about the animals and whatnot, but yeah, much excuses for that. But indeed, indeed, my brother. And by the way, Dr. Bass, did you happen to just receive like two videos that I just sent to you? So that yeah we could get into them as I try to finish off the point I'm trying to make here based off of how you just wonderfully laid it all out.
oh yeah, let me send the videos to myself.
Okay, you received them. Okay, good stuff. But yeah, the way you laid it out, yeah, I could not have worded it better than you already did, bro, because the reality of it all is the reality is energy. Source in and of itself, the divine providence, the all is pure energy. Like it is the energy that gave birth to all the other energies. You know what I'm saying? And like energy, energy senses other energy. So if you really have that self-doubt, that mindset of lack and all that kind of stuff, those around you could easily pick it up because yeah, these are just vibrations that Even the book I mentioned earlier, the Kabbalion, speaks about he he who masters the law of vibration has grasped the scepter of power. Just imagine when you could really control your vibration, because it all starts in the mind. The mind is the tunnel, the mind is the pathway, it's the gateway, it's the highway that leads to the all. You know what it is I'm saying, bro? Because the moment you can master your vibration, you can master just picturing in your mind what it is that you truly desire. Because big shout out to Dr. Mumbi once more, but big shout out to Real Merkaba as well, because this brother has a lot of good stuff he be teaching on his YouTube channel. You have to be in order to really achieve what it is that you desire. And not just that, even the so-called Bible itself says faith without works is dead. Once you tune in to that frequency of whatever it is that you desire, you have to take the necessary action that will lead you closer toward that goal, toward that achievement. Because the reality of it all is, bro, the picturing of what it is that you desire and the necessary action both go hand in hand, because that's the only way you'll ever truly be able to achieve the things that you desire and much, much more. And that's just speaking on the physical level. But Dr. Bass, I could not have worded it better than you already did. Definitely the time off that you took to yourself. Yeah, you're definitely getting there, my brother. And it's a continual journey, you know? It's a marathon, not a race. We're not racing against anyone. Arise back to your true self at your own pace.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like you just have to just be and just let the universe handle it, like pretty much everything. But
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. So you got the videos, right, bro?
yeah, which one you want me to start with?
Uh, the one with Bobby Hemmett and Brother Panic, the part where they're talking about death. Yeah. Now here's something that so many people fear for some strange reason, and I believe it was back in our very first live, bro, where I had mentioned to you and you yourself had responded accordingly. Bro, even if we were not here, if we were to cease being here later or so-called tomorrow or anything along those lines, big fucking deal. Thanks to you, we've already made several lives across different platforms. Big shout out to you, Dr. Bass, that people could just literally go in and listen to the message that we left behind as we've already transitioned to greater places, to greater realms, higher experiences and dimensions. You know what I'm saying? Because this physical realm, bro, I tell you, there just be days I just stop and I'm like, man, why the fuck am I here back in this bitch, man? You know what I'm saying, Dr. Bass? But we know we're here for a reason, and yeah, very grateful for you again, bro. Very grateful to Source for allowing this to happen. Yeah, the people need to get the message, and may many people as much as possible get this message.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's definitely powerful message right there.
It doesn't matter if we're here. It doesn't matter if we're not here later or tomorrow, bro. We've already left our mark. May people literally apply and do the research and search in places that they don't want them to be searching. And big shout out to what you mentioned before. The fact that they're shadow banning and censoring and all that kind of stuff shows you that these bitches, that these cowards, that they are scrambling. There's so much that they don't want the people to wake up to. But too bad for them, because with the age we're already heading into, yeah, they're starting to be exposed for the liars and the frauds and the charlatans that they always were, bro. Straight up.
Yeah, straight up, straight up.
Let's go, bro.
The second part of the first question, yeah, the first question was, what is death, and why are so many people become scared of it? Yeah. It is said, and even in the book Dion Fortune's book, the Through the Gates of Death, that the Western man is the only person that ever lived that did not understand death. So basically, when we talk about these things, we're talking about a late Western phenomenon. You see what I'm saying? Number one, because they are immigrant humans. These are the people initiations, rites of passages, through mythology, and you see what I'm saying, and through cultural motifs of learning that will prepare people for this world. They came so late until they grew up into a world of ignorance, until the Western man is the person and you can, if you could pinpoint a culture that didn't know death, it would be that particular one, because we talk about a people that really didn't have a culture. They borrowed pieces from every other culture. They're a parasite, scavenger. You see what I'm saying? An immigrant human. You see, now it's interesting here. So the mystery here is they weren't prepared for death because of the simple fact the first culture, as them being a civilized people, they were handed religion.
There is no other disease I can think of where people just expect.
Modern religion, let's put it that way, okay, which basically is moral, mundane, inspirational ceremony, which has no room to teach about death, because the whole plot is to lock you down in a series of fear, to even be ruled by these religions. So therefore, if you're going to have fear, you got to have a place that's dismal, a boogeyman type of zone that nobody wants to go to, that will put them on lockdown to even want to deal with the religion. So therefore, the other world has to be the scapegoat. Right. Okay. It has to be the forbidden zone. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what religions give us. It even says in the Bible, I am a God of the living and not the dead. So it simply tells you that this is a new category of inspirational ceremony that is based on moralism, social behavior. You understand what I'm saying? It has very little to do with the realities beyond the physical world. You understand what I'm saying?
Pause it real quick, Dr. Bass.
Out of the living and not the.
You see that, Dr. Bass? You see why I just love how everything perfectly connects and just goes back like a piece of a puzzle that you probably missed or something. We spoke about this in our previous lives before. He is the God of the living, not the God of the dead. And it is even taught. Hilton Hotema even spoke about it in one of his books. I can't remember if it was the Tetragrammaton or he was talking about one of his books. One of his books. Get as much as of Hilton Hotema's books as possible. But he explained in one of his books already how in reality, when we are in the physical realm, we are actually dead spiritually. But it's when we put off this physical body, that's when we resuscitate. And that's what the word resurrection means. It means you revive, you come back to that spiritual state. So when you think about it, the thing with mummies and zombies, and even though there is truth with some of that, especially with the zombies, especially with Haitian voodoo and how they're able to use spirits and different like potions and mixtures of stuff like that to really either bring one back from beyond the spiritual realm, or they could make a dead body appear alive and whatnot. But that's probably a topic for another time. You could even do your research on it, like with um Haitian voodoo, zombies, and all that kind of stuff. But this is still stuff that goes beyond the physical realm. Hilton Hotema speaks in his books about how in reality, when you're in this physical body, you're actually spiritually dead. It's when you put off this physical body, when this physical body dies, then you resuscitate, you revive, and you resurrect spiritually. And it makes so much of sense. But it even says so in that damn book that a lot of these so-called Christians hold dear. Many of them have never even read the book in its totality. And even if they read the book, they don't even really comprehend the esoteric, deep, hidden messages that are in plain sight. Why are you fucking with a God who doesn't even care about you the moment you're on your deathbed? And I thought the whole process, the whole theme of it is you have to die in order to go meet God in heaven. And goodness gracious, bro, I don't even need to get into what it is that you perfectly laid out for the people. Like, what is heaven? What is heaven's schedule? Like, what is it that they're doing in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and all that kind of stuff? You're fucking with an entity that doesn't even fuck with the realm that exists beyond the physical realm. Like, Dr. Bass, I pass it back on to you as we get back to the video. And like, goodness gracious,
Oh yeah, they don't even read the book, don't even comprehend it. They just be like, "Oh, I should go to I just read the Bible scriptures at this point," but that's not even the full book. But they just believe in anything and that just sounds good to them. Like anything that doesn't sound good, they just be defensive and they're just closed-minded to anything that like challenges their self-limiting beliefs. So at this point, if you're still experiencing some like self-limiting beliefs, you just have to like work on those that part of yourself because like trust me, like those self-limiting beliefs can take you down. So at this point, you just have to work on them and do that shadow work so you can overcome them. So you won't be limiting yourself to new experiences, new outcomes, and new positive changes that can come through into your life.
oh, most definitely, most definitely. And it's a good thing while we're on this very same topic of death and whatnot. Another good book, I probably might have mentioned it before. Bobby Hemmett mentioned in a video how Louis Farrakhan in the past he would make one big mistake about not mention uh books and references and sources of where he gets his information from. Me, I'm a fucking reference them though. One book that y'all need to get in your library, Reginald Crossley's book from 2000, The Voodoo Quantum Leap. hmm Now you would wonder how does voodoo and quantum uh studies, quantum physics, the study of quantum mechanics and all that, how does it work? Bro, like literally magic is literally just a form of higher universal science. That's all it is. Magic is spiritual science. That's all it is. Crossley's The Voodoo Quantum Leap. Another good book. In that book, he explains just how, because how the Kabbalion itself already perfectly outlines how reality is mental, the universe, the universe is the all, and the universe is mental. Essentially, reality is what you create. This even applies to the so-called afterlife, my brother. There's a reason why they call the subconscious realm the underworld, because you literally create even the reality that you head into after you've put off your physical body. You see the deep shit? You see the deep fucking shit that I'm just laying out here for people? That years and years of going to these freaking churches and these mosques and whatnot, they, well, I won't lie, some of these religions, especially in the East, where they still have fragments of the ancient teachings, they do teach them that. But especially in the West, big shout out to Bobby for mentioning it in the video. These motherfuckers, they be preaching a bunch of garbage, a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of hoopla over and over and over, that they don't even know what death is. They can't preach what death is. They can't explain what death is because they're immigrants, they're parasites, they're scavengers. They literally got here by way of counterfeit spirits and whatnot, but that's probably a topic for another time. All I could say is not everybody who looks like you has your best interest at hand. Not all skin folk is kinfolk, but when it comes to death and whatnot, bro, reality is literally what you make of it. We live in a mental universe, and that's where they want to throw people off and continually put them on that hamster wheel cycle of viciousness. Bro, let's get back to the video.
Today, well, let's ponder that for a minute. Everything has to die. So that means death is the ultimate terrain, the ultimate plateau. That's right. And the God, and this particular God is saying that I'm not a part of that, it means that God has to be a subordinate deity, masquerading the supreme being. You understand what I'm saying? Because he does not have dominion over that which is outside of the physical body, to the point whereas if you really study, the God that they give over to the dead is the very one that we are prone and taught to be afraid of, Satan. You see what I'm saying? So the angel of death is Satan. In the early Christian teachings, they even have this name, Usa, the god of death. Look at the word Usa, Osiris, which they are right. Osiris is the god of the dead. And you even get this word in early Christian mythology or early Christian teaching of Usa, which saying in actuality, well, if you really want to deal with that, now you just got to deal with another type of God. Just so happens it has to be deemed the devil in this world, because this particular teaching and this particular phenomenon of cult is that for fear, and that for a childlike people to rear them on the lower realm at all times, stuff like that. So that is one of the reasons why you don't know about death in the Western culture. Now let's take the ancient indigenous culture, where they said that the ancient Egyptians and all other ancient cultures used to learn about death from a very early age. And the more and more they learned about death and learned about death until death became a neat place or something to aspire to be. It became, you know what I'm saying, something that is admired. Now we know you can do that now, because how many people fell in love with the Dracula mythology? That's some cool shit. It has its own form of immortality. You see, so you can take the same motif and understand how they can teach the people in the ancient world, you see what I'm saying, to fall in love with that particular hereafter, because everything is based on funerary rites. And we even have some of those motifs leaping over into the new world when you look at voodoo, where they have all this burn samadhi, you know what I'm saying, propagate and all these particular ones. You can even see how neat it is when you get the movie Sugar Hill. Anybody saw the movie Sugar Hill? Yeah, the old one. The one from 1975, 73.
Oh yeah, that was a good movie. The
Somebody's in there,
1975 Sugar Hill.
killing up
That
people.
was a
You know,
good
you be like,
movie.
I want to hang out with them cats, because those cats, they got it on the zombies. You see what I'm saying? So, in so many words, we get it in the mythology. It's cool to be dead. You see what I'm saying? Well, in so many words, if you understand that, you can also understand how the ancient people could teach people. How the ancient people could teach people to aspire to look forward to that type of life, and therefore it would be a smooth transition. I'm not saying that they didn't have a certain amount of people that would have a certain emotion when anybody pass out of this world, because it is, it takes a lot to get used to, but still, yet, they get to have this fear of death. And I saw the movie LINKTREE, one of Gordon Parks, who did Shaft. The movie he did before he did Shaft was LINKTREE. And in there, he got the guy, little Newt Winger, and his grandmama. And Newt saying, man, I sure don't want to die. And the grandmama like, me either. Showing that niggas are scared of death. Then we ask these particular things, how is it that the Native Americans, the Africans, and indigenous people around the world can just lose a grip on things when the white man come in and start taking the earth? Well, number one, they had a prophecy that this stuff was going to happen. Number two, the Native Americans say it's a good day to die. So they didn't look at death as such a tragic form of things when it came to, when it came to people conquering their land. Now, we're not saying they laid down, because they had a lot of, there's one thing about the European, they don't tell you that they had a lot of skirmishes and stuff like that. But my point here is, the difference between the indigenous people is that the European was fighting for his life because he was afraid of death. It might have been a tool of conquering in the end in this modern part, but my point here is it wasn't no big deal for the ancient people. You see what I'm saying? And we can even say that now. We see a glimpse of that in the modern culture with the kamikazes in Japan, or with the arrows, although they might be lied to about how many virgins they're going to have. The suicide bomber still yet is still based off of a culture that has some remnants of that side of death is not to be feared. And it might be the turning point, and it's going to be the turning point on how these people can say, look, we will never give up this fight. And obviously the Vietnamese had this same thing. Fuck it. We are ready to hold out for 20 years, 30 years, because death is nothing to us. The only person that's fighting for his life is that particular person that doesn't have the knowledge of the afterlife, and not only have the knowledge for the afterlife, know their upper echelon know that this is all they got. But they're not going to go beyond this fucking realm. And they build a culture conducive to that. You see what I'm saying? So right now the Arabs or the people in Iraq and all, because they have some link to an ancient culture. It might not be much, but it's a remnant to say, hey, look, it ain't no big deal dying. Now, and it's not something that's so far-fetched because they just came off a war with Iraq and Afghanistan. You see what I'm saying? They fought all of the 80s. So death is nothing to them. You see what I'm saying? This is commonplace. But it goes beyond that type of aspect on how these people, you won't be able to defeat these people because the simple fact they have some type of remnants of what it would be like because they're not afraid of dying like we are. And that's the difference. That's the one little edge. You see what I'm saying? That they have. Because what can the white boy do? He can't blow up the earth with all this bombs and stuff like that because he'll defeat his own purpose. That means he's got to stand face to face and fight these people that have a culture that they have babies just for war. Now I was talking to one of the Palestinians in 1988. He was over getting a master's degree at Clark Atlanta University or Atlanta University at the time. And we sat up late at night and talked. And he said, shoot, one of my brothers died in Munich, Germany. And he said, Mama had 8 more children after he died. So you got people that raise children just to be expendable in war. How can you fight against that type of thing? But here goes again, death is not the issue with them. They are not afraid of dying. You see what I'm saying?
The next question coming to us is, what happens when you die? In the context of you die, and when we say, like on Earth, when you see the eyes, that man's gone. That man who's gone, what does he see, hear, experience? Is there pain? What's the next thing? What's the first thing on his agenda as he goes? So what happens when he dies?
It all depends on where your consciousness is, or what type of death you have. There could be a painful death, and then there could be a death where, for instance, somebody can get knocked outside of their body so fast until they don't know they're dead, and they'll go home and knock on the door and nobody answers. About like what happened in the movie Ghost. You remember what's your boy in there? Patrick Swayze. And he didn't know he was dead at first because he got snatched out of his body so quick. And when he got home and all, he didn't realize why nobody wasn't recognizing him. And part of the movie, which was an excellent movie, you see, it came out in 1990. Part of the movie was based on him trying to get a foothold on what happened when he died. Most people, when they first die, they'll go see this light. It's called the astral light. The astral light is the astral plane. It is set up to retrieve the soul, to get it trapped back in a cycle of reincarnation. So when you go towards the light, it is the astral light, which is the astral plane, which is ruled by a group of entities called the demiurge, or the Devashanic plane is what it's called. It's ruled by the Deva spirits, the Orishas, or the Olympian spirits.
Now, the Orishas, should we be walking, which this goes into the third question, which is, and we can merge these two together, as, you know, the walking towards the light, and should this, like in the 80s, from when I was a child, you always hear people with these death experiences. I seen my family there. I seen uncles and grandfathers saying, walk, come towards the light. So that means, that we can merge both of these questions together.
Okay, right.
Are they helping us?
So those are souls that's trapped. Let me give you a pyramid structure of how this thing goes.
Okay.
You got two realms. You have the Devashanic plane, which basically snatched the souls up to get them ready for a cycle of reincarnation. Now that reincarnation can be 50 years, 100 years. The older the soul, the longer it takes to reincarnate. Younger, and especially those ones that don't have a soul, because you do have those people, they can reincarnate faster. So you to reincarnate faster, we'll give you what's going on here. It's being ruled by a group of entities called the demiurge, the Olympian deities, the Orishas, the Devas, the shining ones, and their light is a prism. It's the astral light. And in so many words, they get you into this cycle of reincarnation, or what I would like to say, reincarceration. Doing time on planet Earth, reincarceration. You see what I'm saying? This is the lowest plane. No one really needs to really be here or wants to be here. It's got good sense other than when you take on a human body. You were duped into being here because the first thing happens, which is so bad about it, is if you came back as an adult, you would understand the game. Hey, wait a minute. We're doing this shit over and over and over again. That's why they snatch you back into a small brain of a baby, which means that small brain is almost like a piece of oblivion. It's so dumb until it has to regain memory. And although it's regaining memory, and it has certain elements of the previous life, as it gets more and more morphed into the life that it is now incarnated in, that life basically diminishes or extinguishes the life prior to it. So the brain is developed to, number one, tap into, number one, coincide with the life that it is reincarnated into, and give data and to basically notice the world that is encased in, but it's also developed to somehow suppress the previous life, which is only in the memory of the soul, which the connection of that soul is the pineal gland, the brain up under the brain.
Have you heard of turtle traders? They were a group.
That's it, bro. Oh man. I mean, like, yeah, before we get to this video with Brother Panic, oh man, Dr. Bass, could you just like lay it out? But I just want to say, as you lay it out to the lovely people watching this, and people need to comprehend once again, within every nation, within every group, within every so-called race of people, there are mostly bad, but there are a few who are good. I mean, for lack of a better term, those who really are willing to help spread the message so that we know what the spiritual nature of this reality is. Because just like what Bobby said, you ever look at Dracula, like a motherfucker who's already dead, and there's a form of immortality there. When you go back to the original 1975 Sugar Hill movie, how she would literally go to a voodoo priestess, a high voodoo priestess, to summon Baron Samedi, who is the patron Gede of the dead, to exact vengeance on those who killed her would-be husband. Like, I watched the movie personally. I could tell you, it's a really good movie. Sugar Hill, like the original 1975 Sugar Hill movie. You try look for it online, probably you'll find it. But bro, like, so many examples, and like what he said, when you talk about suicide bombers up in the east in Islam and whatnot, you still have remnants of the ancient world showing you, yo, death is something you should embrace, nothing to fear whatsoever. And Dr. Phil Valentine is going to show us exactly why a victim consciousness is one of the worst, most disgusting, most putrid fucking things that this system is very good at putting on you. Because I distinctly remember, bro, years ago, I never used to hear about depression being such a thing, about, oh, depression this and depression that. I'm like, these motherfuckers with this bullshit agenda. Because if they had to fucking get up and die, I guess they would be much worse than Patrick Swayze's character in the 1990 movie Ghost, like what Bobby Hemmett said. You already left the physical realm, but it happened so fast that you didn't realize up until yeah, the revelation came to you and whatnot. But Dr. Bass, lay it out for the people. Basically everything that Bobby already laid out, and man, it's just some good stuff. I'm telling you, man, I'm very grateful to Source and whatnot for all this, bro. Like, for real, this is stuff. If people ignore this stuff, hey, by all means, you go ahead and make of this information as you will. But bro, we're only here to help spread ancient knowledge so that people know the times that we're moving back into, because reality is, the universe is a cycle. It's not a line. Everything, you start at that point of the circle till you go all the way until you make it back to where you started. Take it away, Dr. Bass.
Oh yeah, it's like with like the death process, it's kind of like you just have to like look at it as like we all know like don't even go to the light because like how they said is the we for like reincarnation. So as at this point you
Mhm.
just have to keep working out that cycle because everything is kind of like when you get brought into this physical realm, right? We already get programmed with like all these self-limited beliefs, and then we all get programmed about what we should do or what we think or how should we act, like, and we already get put into like these bloodlines that are already like, I wouldn't say corrupt, but like like corrupt, but like we have to like fix them so we can like break those generational curses and break those like fix the bloodline so it can like we can like push forward like generations upon generations. You get what I'm saying? Because at this point, like okay, your grandparents like told what they were taught, they passed it on to your parents, and then what your parents were taught pass it on to you. So obviously the cycle will continue to go on, but like at this point we gotta be generational, like we gotta be cycle breakers, like you know what I'm saying? Like we have to like um just kind of like do our own thing and just break those like curses and everything like that. So at that point,
Dr. Bass.
yo,
Yeah,
oh
go ahead,
yeah,
go ahead.
like at this point, like your ancestors are like depending on you, so that's why they always are with you and they always are helping you. But yeah, that's part of it.
Oh no, Dr. Bass, the way you nailed it, the way you laid it down, the way you just put it, especially with the whole generational curses and cycles being broken. Oh boy, Dr. Bass, big shout out to you, my brother. Like, again, like you said, it's not that these bloodlines are cursed, but because yeah, all the bullshit that our grandparents were taught, and they passed it down to our parents, and our parents, all the bullshit that they were taught, they try to pass it down to us. Oh no, you and I, brother, and the generation that's coming after, we are the cycle breakers. We are the ones who are definitely going back to that ancient knowledge, because we're not coming up with anything new. There's nothing new under the sun, even like the Bible itself said. We're going back to that ancient knowledge because uh who was it? It was Edward Bruce Bynum in his book The African Unconscious, where he explains, get that book by the way, another good book, Edward Bruce Bynum, The African Unconscious. In that book, he explains about how Dr. Joseph Ben Yochanan, big shout out to Dr. Ben and Dr. John Henrik Clark, as well as Francis Cress Welsing and all these great individuals, Marcus Garvey, the whole 9 yards. In that book, Dr. Bynum explains about how Dr. Ben already made the connection about how Christianity, and I have to add, Christianity is the retarded, full of shit grandchild of ancient Egyptian spiritual teachings. hmm like you give birth to a child, but you really don't even know what that child is going to become. Pretty much like the lottery, bro. Like you just don't know where the ball is going to fall. Like that's literally Christianity. But then again, the people who and fun fact, Christianity when it originally began was an ancient Egyptian spiritual system still. It's later the more corrupt it became, these motherfuckers took it and turned it into something far removed from what it even originally was. So, what Christians today are being taught is not what Christians hundreds of cycles ago were being taught. Let that sink in. But yeah, we are the generational curse breakers. We are definitely the ones who are going to clean up these bloodlines to make way for new portals being opened so that higher vibrational beings can come down and really turn this realm into a place that's worthy of experiencing in and of itself. And the only way we're going to do that is to break the fear and the victim consciousness, which perfectly segues into you playing the next video with Dr. Phil Valentine explaining why victim consciousness is full of shit and why that's something we should break right here and right now, brother. Take it away.
Celebrity-based leaders begin with the best of intent, but much of the truth becomes watered down and adulterated by those in the population who fail to take the higher mandates of the information and instead use the leader's celebrity as a focal point to drain the energy from the message with the consistent preoccupation of victim consciousness. We got to get out of that fucking victim consciousness. Since humanity tends to drain their decoders of their light, and with them the messages that they bring, the higher light brotherhood and sisterhood, who you are, has decided that those who are to be involved in the telepathic transmutation of humanity will remain unidentified, and there must be no focus of celebrity at this particular time. Hello? Why you think I told? Don't fucking follow me nowhere. I don't want nobody following me and bowing and scraping. Come up, yo brother, how you doing? Good thing, yeah. I don't want no followers. Don't throw no flowers in front of me and all this bullshit that most of these motherfuckers want. Do not seek celebrity, because that is a distraction. It pollutes the environment for our self-attainment. The focus of the light codes and the inherent messages, the intended purpose is all that is the celebrity. The intended purpose is the celebrity. We are a collective Messiah. We are not looking for a Messiah. We must raise the collective Messiah. The change of celebrity focus from the perceptual content of humanity will reroute an enormous amount of light wasted through the act of distractive attention. Could you imagine if we wasn't starting to run around after Brad Pitt and Denzel and shit? All the focus of light that goes into all this bullshit distraction, could you imagine if we contained that and had a focus for our attention? The window of opportunity for us, the code breakers, will accomplish what will be a monumental consciousness transition in a very small period of time. In fact, this window is minuscule compared to the obstacles that will encounter us within the human belief systems that must be completely dissolved for the whole to be transformed. Belief systems are the next thing that must be destroyed. Political belief systems, religious belief systems, economic belief systems, educational belief systems, marital-based belief systems.
Spit it
Everything
out,
we
Dr.
now have been
Valentine.
given based upon the coding of the artificial synchronicity and the matrix. We have to dissolve it because it all keeps the shit in place. There is no more relationships. That's why relationships are all fucked up. What's happening with relationships? We got 10 million new psychoanalysts. Every motherfucker, every fucking white woman is a psychoanalyst now. They all on Ricky Lake and this fucking Oprah and all this shit. And we got more people fucked up than ever. Why is that? Because they are seeking to get you to a relationship, and a relationship is the coding of the matrix. What you need at this time is a partnership. You need somebody that you are going to do battle with side by side. Sure. Fuck all that other shit with the romance and the slowly running towards one another. All that shit is the matrix. It's bullshit. Beyond, now listen carefully. In us as children of the dark matter, and this is me giving you who you are. In us as children of dark matter consciousness, as children of the black, triple black mother, the greatest impediment to access the black dot doorway, the greatest hurdle in the quest for telestic initiation is our present victim consciousness. Victim consciousness about white people keeps us fucking thinking that white people are doing shit to us. But when black people around the planet know that we doing it to ourselves, white people disappear. If they disappear here, they disappear there. Because our attention is no longer on them, and that's what they are fucking fearful of. That's why they keep doing shit to keep your attention. What happens when you don't pay attention to them more? They shoot one or two of our brothers. They got your attention. They constantly keep your attention in victim consciousness. Because when they keep killing you, you keep thinking about being victimized. So you can't think about the higher mandate, which is to conquer this shit. You conquer it by collectively getting rid of your fucking pimp politicians. Getting rid of your fucking pimp priests and ministers. All of them who
You hear that, Dr. Bass? You heard that, Dr. Bass?
Beyond this scar that we have on our consciousness, this keloid of slave experience that has mutilated our atomic molecular psyche, lies the realm of free matter imagination. See, when you're in the realm of free matter, that past experience is something that you catalog without the emotional connection to it. It is our emotional connection to the experience that keeps us from going beyond the experience. It's fine to know our legacy, but to constantly keep emoting over it keeps us stagnated, because that's some precious fucking energy we could be using to dissolve this illusion.
Ooh, man, that was only, what, 6 minutes and change, but I swear it was like we went through a whole lecture right there, Dr. Bass.
Yeah, that was a good one, especially like when he was talking about the attention, because like really all your wherever you focus on, that all your attention, it glows. So like make sure you just like all like aware of what you put your attention towards, because that could enter into your reality, huh?
Oh, definitely. And you saw the words, the words of the goddess Sekhmet, the words of the goddess Sekhmet, which were like literally on the video itself. Um, Spiritual growth is not for the weak. Bro, I don't give a damn. The fact that I don't have anything in this fucking physical realm, the fact that I've got nothing to live for virtually, I'm telling you, give me that spiritual growth over anything else, because brother, this physical realm, all of the belief systems, all of the being, the lie systems, all that shit is coming to a close. It's ending. It's literally kaput, finito, c'est fini. I'm telling you, my brother, this shit is coming to an end, and these motherfuckers are terrified. The cracker, being the overgrown child that he is, that motherfucker knows the moment we ignore him, he's got nothing to live for. So you already don't really exist in the higher spiritual realms. And the fact that you're being ignored even on this physical realm, man, that's like a double fucking death blow for them, don't you think?
Yeah, it's like the are we doing double shots out this joint, get
Oh yeah, man. Kill these motherfuckers. But remember, big shout out to Brother Panic. We gotta first kill them in our mind. First kill all the traitorous, no good niggas who are the reason why these motherfuckers are even where they are. Because the reality of it all is, I don't care about none of these stupid motherfuckers. Be it you're talking about niggas, you're talking about crackers, you're talking about the so called Chinese and all these silly ass motherfuckers. Bro, they don't mean shit to me because I know that I come from a higher place. I know I come from a greater place. I know I come from a place that I can't even begin to imagine how amazing it is on the other side. You know what it is I'm saying? The fact that you could actually describe what your afterlife is like and whatnot shows you that you're probably better off reincarnating and coming back to this shit because the higher spiritual realms and even the lower spiritual realms are nothing like this physical plane. Remember what we spoke about already, bro? Apart from these pimp pastors and whatnot that Brother Phil Valentine already perfectly laid out. How are you describing the afterlife? Much like a fucking place that I could probably take a plane to go to India or China or maybe somewhere in Africa to visit. You know what it is I'm saying? So the afterlife is just like this physical plane? Well, why the fuck do I even need to worry about going to the afterlife? You know what it is I'm saying?
it's like at this point, like you have to like be surprised instead of like expecting or already like knowing like people talking about, oh yeah, heaven's gonna be like this, heaven like that, but you're not even you the
In re-
future.
hmm hmm
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh yeah, like so like the future is like non-existent, so you really don't even know what's gonna go happen. So.
In Reginald Crossley's book, he mentioned about a British minister. I cannot remember from what year. Was it the 1700s? But if you get the book and you reach that part, in that book, he explains about there was a politician, I think it was. This motherfucker said he was even more terrified. Listen carefully, Dr. Bass. He said he was more terrified of the Christian heaven than he was hell. Because at least in hell, one way or the other, you know that there's going to be something to keep you on your feet, to keep you excited and whatnot. But to be singing hymns and praises to this fucking God that don't even give a shit about you all day and all night for all eternity, he was terrified of just the thought of it. Yeah, the chickens are fucking around here. Like it's nighttime. They're roosting up in trees and whatnot. So yeah, but yo, he said he was more terrified of heaven than he was hell, my brother. And if the more I stopped and thought about it, I'm like, hey, you motherfuckers can go on to that heaven and all you want. Me, I don't give a fuck about none of that stupid shit. Because just like this physical realm, how much more within the spiritual realms can we create that which we truly put our attention and mind power into, my brother? And that's exactly the kind of power they don't want you to be aware of. Because, bro, reality truly is what you make of it. And the fact that they need us, melanated beings, to fucking create their reality shows you that they're nothing but parasites who, the moment we realize what they are, bro, they're fucked right there on the spot. It's a wrap. It's over. Finito for them. I'm telling you. But Dr. Bass, any last words of encouragement and whatnot as we uh get off of this surprisingly well flowing live? I won't lie. Like once again, it turned out to be better than even I anticipated.
Yeah, like like for like the people who talk about like heaven and whatnot, like so y'all telling me that y'all just gonna be sitting there just worshiping someone else, singing hymns and all that stuff every single day. It's like y'all need to do something else. Like at this point, you know what I'm saying? What's the change? What's the excitement? What's the you know what I'm saying? The only excitement is like the people who go into heaven from the gatekeepers. That's your only excitement. So at this point, it's like no point at this point. But yeah, like
Ian was saying, and it's I love how everything comes back full circle. The only the only consistency, the only consistent thing in the universe is change. Straight up. And the fact that you're going to be there for what eternity, whatever the fuck that's supposed to be. He's the God of the living, not the God of the dead. So technically speaking, what God is it that they're going to be worshiping after they die? These are fucking questions they're not asking themselves, my brother, because it can't be that same piece of shit God that he already said he's the God of the living. Big shout out to Bobby Hemmett for mentioning it from the Bible. He's the God. It's written in their fucking Bible. He's the God of the living, not the God of the dead. So what God are you worshiping after you put off your physical body? Whew. Man, this shit is beyond frustrating, my brother. But hey, they choose their path. They can't say they didn't receive the truth or the facts. Dr. Bass, any last words as we close this one?
yeah, like at this point, like the age of Aquarius, everything's coming to an end. So at this point, it's like they all kind of like that monkey mind, but you just have to like ignore it and like all that clutter and all that noise in your head. Just imagine them being like that. So like you can just block it out. Realize that you are not your thoughts, you are not those things, and you can overcome it all.
Couldn't have worded it better myself, Dr. Bass. Hey, Dr. Bass, thank you so much for another great opportunity, another surprisingly good live. I feel this one is even better than the last one. And the last one, yeah, by the way, yeah, I don't think you posted the last live that we did yet, no, bro?
Oh, not yet. It'll come out soon. It'll come out before this one. Before this.
Not a problem, not a problem. But either way, Dr. Bass, spread it out to all the platforms, all the different platforms as you already do, because anyone can come across them and be like, wow, here's a message I didn't even think I needed. Like that's the it's the subtle but major changes that we're looking to help make in people's lives so that they could do their research and return to who it is that they truly are. You know what it is I'm saying, my brother? Activate all seven chakras. Activate all seven chakras. Get to the crown point. Get to beyond that because, bro, we're multidimensional beings for fuck's sake. This physical realm, man, I could leave this bitch today and I'd probably be the happiest being in the universe. And I'm not even exaggerating about that. Dr. Bass, any last words?
Oh, nah, that you capped it off right there. That was lit, man. Thanks for coming on too.
Oh, no, thank you for the opportunity, my brother. Hey, everyone, do your research, get back to your true self. The universe should be your playground. Know thyself. Dr. Bass, thank you once more, brother.
Oh yeah, check it
Peace.
out. Make sure you follow, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Where's the cancel button? Okay, yeah, have fun. Peace out. Bye.